Okay, welcome back to the Bootleg Corner Movie Viewers, and this time it is Welcome to Derry episode 6 review. Now, in the last few episodes, we've learned that Pennywise has been the reason why Derry has been feeling a lot of malcontent, a lot of basically being a place of malevolence and a place of just that underbelly of anger and that underbelly of racism and every other evil thing you can attach to Derry. And that was one of the first questions I asked when I started this series, that why did Pennywise settle in Derry? Is he a direct cause, or is there a correlation between Pennywise being in Derry and Derry having that feeling of just everywhere not being alright, basically? But in the last few episodes, we've learned that Pennywise, since he landed there, I think they said he had been shedding some of his skin or something that infected the water, and basically everyone is just basically on edge against each other. And that's why the town has that feeling of just being a base or a center of malevolence, a center of, there's an underbelly of evil and underbelly of anger that is just in everyone, that's making everyone act out in different violent ways and forms. And that was one of the things we've confirmed from the last few episodes. Now in episode 5, Lily found the prison shard of Pennywise, and I was saying she would show it to her friends and tell them this was what helped her stop Pennywise, or helped stop Pennywise from attacking her. And we are seeing her do that in this episode, but it seems that there is some, I don't know, some random or stringed attachment she has with the shard that is making her feel very much possessive about it. And she doesn't even want to let it go when she's talking to her friends, when they want to see. She's holding it tightly and closely to her. So I do not know if that's basically an influence of Pennywise, or that's something that has to do with the shard that just makes whoever holds it feel very possessive about it. Kind of like a lot of the Rings kind of thing, where something is just so powerful and whoever is in charge of it just feels a certain sense of responsibility, a certain sense of covetousness about it. But with Lily showing it to her friends, they were trying to see it, and she was just basically trying to hold on to it as long as possible, and their situation basically just devolved into a big argument where everyone went almost their separate ways. So I'm asking now, is that a direct relationship, a direct correlation between her holding the shard and everything just going haywire, or is that basically a response, or basically a feature that has been added to everyone since, like we heard before, that Pennywise has been infiltrating and making everyone in Derry just feel a lot more antagonistic towards each other? One of the questions we'll have to ask and have to see the answers to at some point later in this series. Now, for Major Hanlon, he has been unraveling so far, seeing many things happen, killing his best friend down in the sewers, coming back, and just his life has really been turned upside down. We're learning that the secret or the mission of him being in Derry is not as easy and as benign as he thought it was. And now, with his kid running amok and him being angry that he saw his kid in the sewers, and like basically all the events that happen in the sewers with Major Hanlon and Polly, his best friend, he's very angry. And here he is trying to scold or chide his kid, and his kid is now basically talking back to him and telling him that he's at fault for even killing his best friend. And he lashed out and hit his child. And again, this is one of the things we heard earlier. So almost everything in this series so far can be connected back to Pennywise. If he has poisoned their water, basically poisoned their feelings and increased the level of antagonism these people have towards each other, then almost every violent encounter, almost every mishap can be traced back to Pennywise. So even if there are situations where tension are supposed to rise, or if tensions are supposed to rise to a certain level, because Pennywise has basically turned the volume up for everything, everyone is just going to lash out. So whatever hidden intentions or whatever buried down feelings or emotions that are basically negative, Pennywise is turning up the volume and turning up the dial on that. So everyone is just reacting and lashing out in the worst way they know how. And we are seeing an example here with Major Hanlon hitting his kid, quarreling with his wife, and everything is just going left basically. And I know that I think this show should be around 8 episodes, so this was episode 6. So I think we have 2 more episodes to come. That's if it's an 8 episode show or if it's a 10 episode show, but I most likely think it's an 8 episode show. So everything is just pulling away at the seams, and we now know that Pennywise is the master manipulator and the chief cause of all this. Now, a question I asked and everyone has been asking from the past few episodes is what is in Halloran's box, and in this episode we are learning that it's not really a secret, it's not really something really special. It's just basically the memories that Halloran buried deep down within him, and basically thoughts and every bad situation that he had locked away in his mind. And that was what Pennywise had opened when they went down in the sewers. So I thought there was something really special about the box, where it was just basically a strong hold, or basically a place to just bury down the things Halloran did not want to think about, and all the evil stuff from his childhood and stuff like that that made him so afraid. And since we know that Pennywise, his major currency is fear, it made sense that Pennywise would go after that box, since everything that was held in that box were things that made Halloran afraid and scared when he was a child. And we do not know, but we know that since Halloran was so scared of having that box open, it means that those things will still affect him up to the current day. So another question is, Polly's ghost that Halloran saw, is that connected to Pennywise too, or is that just partly just something else? So those are the questions we still have to ask. I think we've answered the question of what is in Halloran's box, but the question of Polly's ghost that Halloran saw walking about, who is that basically? And that's where we are right now with Halloran. Now for Ingrid Kerr, she had been showing up in this series at multiple parts, and we're all thinking, what is her deal? But she really have a huge role to play, because in the beginning and for the entirety of this series, she has just been displayed as an asylum worker, just working in Juniper Hills and basically being the person that Lily had been confiding in for most of her struggles. And now we are seeing the reason why she was given so much screen time. It seems and it appears that her father was the original Pennywise the clown up until the moment that the monster crashed into Derry. And from what we've seen so far, the monster basically took Pennywise's appearance and made it into something more devious, something more violent than what her father was known for. So that was why Ingrid Kerr has been showing up in this series, because her father was normally the Pennywise the clown, the normal clown who had been entertaining folks in Derry, up until the point where the monster just, I don't know how he took him and just basically cloned him and used his body and his likeness to commit so much violence and rampage in Derry. And we are now learning that Ingrid has been so desperate to see whatever glimpse she could find of her father, that I think from what she told to Lily when Lily went to confront her in her house, I think she has been feeding kids to Pennywise just to have a chance to see a glimpse of her father once again. So like, that's her own layer of deviousness in her. And they have been showing her in many parts in this series, and we do not know why, but right now that has been revealed that her father was the original Pennywise the clown, up until the monster from wherever he came just came and cloned him and just took his image and his likeness and used him to commit all sorts of violence. And her confessing that she would do whatever to see her dad, and knowing that the monster had taken the likeness of her dad, and the monster will at least come out a few times just to see her and speak to her. I don't know if I'm communicating this right, but she has basically been feeding kids to Pennywise just to catch a glimpse of her dad. And that's one thing to watch out for, because if she's this desperate to see her dad that she's willing to do anything, then I think that's a tangent that can go anywhere. Basically, she will be responsible for a lot more craziness, a lot more of the missing kids basically in Derry could be tied to her. She can basically be a compass for Pennywise to point out or to lure kids that he's going to eat. So it's just one of those things we'll have to watch out for. Now, in the last episode, the general promised a punitive measure against the American Indians, but in this one we are seeing now that the racial violence to follow or to show up in the next episode will not really even be against the American Indians. It will instead be against the black people in this series. Now we all know that racism has been a major theme in this series right from episode 1. And now we are seeing a full manifestation of that, with Hank Grogan hiding away in the black spot. And at the end of this episode, you saw a lot of white men pull up in masks and guns, and we know that serious violence is about to follow. And we also know that they will not just be going after Hank Grogan. They will basically be doing a clean out and killing anybody that they can find. And with the kids, some of the white kids in the black spot now, it's going to be a bit dicey. It's going to be a bit dicey. But I think we saw a teaser of episode 7 when they showed Halloran. I think it was a bit transported into the past or something. So I do not know if that will be the next episode, or maybe we are going to take Halloran, or maybe Halloran's journey into the past will maybe be more important. But the teaser for episode 7 shows a journey into the past. Halloran is going to be seeing basically the origination of how the monster came to inhabit Pennywise and basically just turned Derry into an upside down place. But I think there might be a delay of what is going to happen in the black spot up until episode 8. But that's where we are right now with episode 6 of Welcome to Derry. Crazy things are happening, a lot more crazy things to come. White folks are pulling up in the black spot to attack some black folks. We learned the origin of Pennywise. I think we know who his daughter is now, and basically a lot of other things are still planning to show up. And I think that should be all for now. It's still the Bootleg God or the Bootleg Corner. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and all that stuff. Keep it locked in, and I'll be back.